Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video brings me to the Black Mountains of North Carolina, where I'm going to be doing a hike to Middle Creek Falls. This is not a falls that's necessarily labeled on a lot of trail maps, so it's going to be a little bit of off-trail hiking to this one in a sense, even though based on what I've read, which the information I've read is very dated, around 4 or 5 years to be exact. You hike the Buncombe Horse Trail, which is where I just starting at now. You hike it till you get to Middle Creek, and you pick up an old trail from there, which will stay north of Middle Creek and parallel it. And you walk to the confluence of two prongs of Middle Creek, and the waterfall will be around that area somewhere. It's a rather lengthy hike today, looking at getting in around 6 miles total, so it is kind of lengthy for me. Not the longest I've done or anything, but definitely longer than I've done in the past few months. So I'm gonna take you along with me. I hope you enjoy the video, and thanks for tuning in today. So today's date is December 28th, 2023. Just a few days left in the year, and the weather in this area currently is about 46 degrees. The high today should be around 52, 53, based on what I checked before I left the house this morning. So it should be pretty good weather, no chances of rain or anything like that. And no wind, no breeze, no nothing. And at the parking area there, which is my vehicle only, there was a couple other vehicles at the Colbert Ridge Trailhead, which is just, 100 yards or less away from where I park. They'll probably be doing that trail, which will take you up to the Black Mountain Crest at a different spot than I believe this one eventually would. But we're going to turn off long before that even thinks about happening to parallel Middle Creek. So should be a pretty good day of hiking. Like I said, about 6 miles total, roughly. And only inconvenience is I don't have my sunglasses. I did a hike somewhere else yesterday, and I changed vehicles for this hike, and I forgot to grab my sunglasses out of my other vehicle, so don't have those, but I think it's going to be okay. Most of the hike is wooded, I believe, so I believe I'll be all right without them. So I'm going to crawl into this deadfall here and continue on. I'm just under a mile in here. I have to say the trail up to this point has been fairly easy. Hasn't been too bad. Got another sign here, just reminding you what trail you're on. Now it says hike difficult, closed to motorized vehicles. Most difficult. Okay, so I guess it's gonna get a little tougher from here, but might have 3 or 4 tenths of a mile before we hit the creek, which I believe I can already hear it. I hear some water source getting louder as the further I go this way. This is the only descent so far. It's been kind of just a gradual climb, very, very easily. Enough to where you just did not need to take a break. All right, so I made it to the intersection here where we're gonna leave the Buncombe Horse Trail. It does continue that way there, which will eventually lead you alongside the peaks of the Black Mountains, and it eventually top out around where the Mount Mitchell Museum and little gift shop area, the parking area is up there. Which may be something to look into a little further in the future, but we're gonna take this path here, which is noted in several places online, including Yet again, kind of dated information from Kevin Adams. If you're not familiar with that, I suggest you Google Kevin Adams waterfalls. You Google that and you'll find out what I mean by that if you're not familiar. But we're gonna head through this path here. I'm not exactly certain of the distance. He estimated he thought it was gonna be roughly a mile to a mile and a half. So again, it's supposed to be around 6 miles total. And it's been a little over a mile up to this point, a mile and a couple tenths, I believe. So we're gonna head through the woods here. I just wanted to say, it's kind of a disclaimer that this is not a maintained trail. And if you decide to trek out here, just be aware of that. You're gonna encounter lots of deadfall and no telling what else. But it's not a maintained trail. This is merely a side path. But supposed to be able to make it out the whole way to get you there. So I'm gonna see if that's accurate. Only been going for 100 yards or so, so far so good, but just kind of getting started here. It's gonna be very dense through here too. So I'm getting my first view of the creek down there now. A little wider than I thought it'd be, but very scenic and flowing very good, as you can hear. And Mr. Adams described this trail as there is a path the whole way, but it can get pretty steep in places. So I'm expecting for it to bring me up quite a bit. Ups and downs, I believe. That's all part of the adventure. And I don't know if I mentioned before or not, but there are, I don't know the exact number, but there are several named waterfalls on Middle Creek. My goal is to only see Middle Creek Falls, which is the most impressive one. If I happen to see more somehow, it is what it is, but my goal is to only see Middle Creek Falls. So I started to get hot, made a little pit stop to shed my layers. Just happened to notice how massive these trees are here. I'm probably about a third of the way through this section, I would say. There's some really, really tall, massive trees here. Anyhow, I'm gonna continue that way. So far, it's been very easy to follow. So I'm definitely grateful for. So I have encountered a waterfall here just off the trail, maybe 20 yards. Had to bushwhack to it, but there's a waterfall here with an insane amount of deadfall in front of it. I'm not sure the name of it. I'm gonna make a note of the coordinates and see if I can look it up later. Like I said before, there are several out here. Just made it up a pretty steep section right here. Wasn't very long, but very steep. It kind of flattens out for a second, or as far as I can see anyway. Some deadfall coming up. Looks like I can get around it easy though. Almost at the 2 mile point. 2 miles overall on the hike. So should be under a mile, I would say. A mile or less to the falls. So just as I got to that deadfall mentioned in the last clip, look up to the right and there's another waterfall. I'm not going to make it up to that one, but it looks like it's probably a decent size. Just kind of a single stream, maybe a little bit trickle to the left of it too. But like I said, I'm not going to go up to that one. I'm going to keep going. Trail straight through there, across this water. Trail's going right alongside this giant wall right here. All right, so I'm pretty much in the thick of it right now, but this is the closest to water level I've been since the very beginning of the hike. Water's just down there, maybe even not even 30 feet. Trail kind of goes through here, but there's a lot of downfall. But I think we're almost there. Look at the trees there. I vaguely see it through all that. But very close. Didn't film a whole lot when I was going through all these steep parts and climbing over deadfall and all that. There really wasn't too many secure spots to hold the phone and move. As you see, I'm not moving now because of it. But my tracking app says I've climbed over 900 feet. Don't know that that's accurate, but it has been a climb, been steep in places, very slippery. These things are still wet, but almost there. So the waterfall is just up through there, but I've got to find a way to get through all this. There's water everywhere. Got to try to find a way to get a view if possible. Trying to do it without getting wet, but I may not have another option but to get wet. Let's see if I can climb up right here, maybe. Middle Creek Falls. I'm gonna get a little bit closer if I can. I'm trying to meander through all this brush here. Maybe I can get 20 or 30 feet closer. Seen some different pictures, and it's definitely high flow. Ooh, cold back in here. Making my way back to the Buncombe Horse Trail now. I think I've gotten past the parts that are very steep on this section. I just didn't video any of that. Ground's pretty treacherous and wet and slippery. Should be mostly easy going the rest of the way back. So I think I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of it. Probably not record much more, if any at all. But I do hope you enjoyed the video. It's looking like Kevin Adams' directions and instructions are going to be right on point. I'm a fan of a lot of his documentation, but in my opinion, he's not always accurate, as no person probably could be. We're all humans. But nonetheless, done a really good job on this one. Glad I got to see it today in high flow. Don't know that this is one I'm going to do again, but I'm very, very glad I did it. And I give it a 10 out of a 10, especially in high flow. I wanted to be able to see at least one larger size waterfall during my Christmas break off from work. And today I definitely accomplished that. Not to say that waterfall has to be large in size to be appealing. Don't mean that in any way, but just wanted to see one a little larger than the others I've seen this Christmas break. Which I think this one and the two unnamed ones I saw, the one I saw earlier, I think I'm over 20 waterfalls this Christmas break. They were all new to me. So, done pretty well. But enough rambling. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for following along and listening to me as I wander through the woods. And if you liked the video, maybe give it a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe if you haven't. If you choose not to do that, no harm, no foul. But that sort of thing does kind of help keep me going. So, I'll see you on the next adventure. Happy New Year.